Hello, my beautiful creative souls, and welcome to today's pick a card reading. I hope that this is going to serve you well. I was actually going to sit down to do a timeless month ahead reading, but something inspired me to kind of just take away that label and cut to the chase of the point of watching pick a card readings, right? The whole point of coming to the cards is to hear some type of information that we're desiring to hear, right? Whether we're seeking an answer or an explanation or a confirmation or insight and direction, right? We're looking to hear something. So today's pick a card reading is, what do you need to hear right now? And this is a timeless reading. You can come back to this at any time. You can come back to this next week and pick a new reading. You could pick a combination of readings, but my intent is that whatever pile you pick will contain a message that you need to hear most right now. If you're unfamiliar with the way that these work, a pick a card or pick a pile reading, I guess as you could say, is when you take a moment to center yourself. Usually you close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, center and ground yourself. Think about what it is that you have in mind as the goal for this reading, what you would like to hear insight on, or just tune into your intuition and pick a pile that you're most drawn to, that your intuition pulls you to. And in that pile will be your reading. You can navigate to your pile using the chapters or the links below to skip around. And without further ado, let's get into it. So pile 1 is this pile here with the lapis lazuli heart. Pile 2 is the pile here with the crystal quartz pyramid. Pile 3 is this pile here with the dried black rose. Pile 4 here is this crystal with the Larimar. And pile 5 is this pile here with the crystal quartz wand. So take a few deep breaths. I'll give you a moment to center yourself. Pick the pile that you're most drawn to. Trust your instincts. And I'll see you in your reading. All right, pile 1, if you chose the lapis lazuli heart, then this is your reading. So let's see what it is that you need to hear most right now. Pile 1. I feel like there's a story playing out for you right now. And you just want to explore what that story is. So let's do that here together. All right, so your story. And I apologize for the glare on these cards. The sun is a little unforgiving in that sense, but we're not going to let that stop us doing this reading. So please bear with me with the glossy cards here. So let's get some more information about this story. So you have Jack and the Beanstalk on the bottom of the deck. We have Alice in Wonderland, Sleeping Beauty, the Ace of Pentacles, the Magician, and the Moon. I'm sensing that you're really on this path of discovery. You're finding yourself in some sort of internal wonderland, really taking the time to explore the inner realms of yourself, the ways that you interact with the world, the different characters and the stories that are playing out within your life. With this moon card here, I feel that there may be some sort of shadow work aspect that you're working on, and you're really chasing the magic bean with Jack and the Beanstalk here. You're looking for the magic within your life, where the mundane meets the magical, and really desiring to use that magic as a vehicle to propel yourself into the next iteration of who you are becoming. And in the past, you may have been playing out this story where you were the Sleeping Beauty, right? That you've been waiting for something to awaken inside of you, and kind of knowing that something was dormant, but not quite sure as to what was kind of going to wake that up within you. And I think your key, your realization to your magic bean, if you will, is the realization that you here now in this lifetime, in this moment, in this physical plane, have the choice. The choice to use your skills, to uncover yourself, to become your own magic bean, or to continue in this realm of wonderland of the Sleeping Beauty, where you're waiting for something external to embark on this magical journey, right? You're waiting to find the bean bender of Jack and the Beanstalk. But the realization in this story, the choice that you have within this story, is understanding that your bean, your magic bean, is your choice to no longer hide and to open up your own story by using your own skills and awakening yourself from this slumber. Choosing to change. There is some type of help here waiting for you. There is a offering that is waiting for you to help you within your activation. But it starts with your choice with the wheel. You may feel that there's some sort of struggle going on. There's some type of competition that you have, some type of internal like tug of war almost between this knowing that you have the skills and wanting to hide your skills, wanting to hide your magic. You're in this point where you have the opportunity to cast away other people's judgment. With the Magician in this beautiful judgment card here, the Magician is reading the internal book. It's recognizing that you already have all of the tools that you need on this earthly plane in order to move forward. But the Judgment card is the moment in which we've actually made the choice and we've moved through the struggles of our journey, right? We've navigated other people, other places, internal realms, issues of the self, existential issues, like all of the things in between. And then it's the point where we have then come into the butterfly, right? We are done with the cocoon. We are done with the Sleeping Beauty aspect, and we are moving into our stage of coming out of the cocoon and blossoming and coming into the world as the butterfly. Sorry, I had to kill the mosquito. And there are going to be points where there is some sort of rivalry between the caterpillars and the butterflies, right? The caterpillars are going to say, we don't like you anymore. You've changed. You're not the same person. You can't sit with us anymore. because you're not a caterpillar anymore. You're now this butterfly. You're this other thing. And there might be some disdain and some pushback and some sense of being pushed out of the group of the caterpillars. But you're not here for the caterpillars. You don't want to be a caterpillar. You want to be a mother freaking butterfly. You have the ambition and the power and the sovereignty and the magic to wield these physical planes in a direction that propels you up the beanstalk, right? You have the ability to create the beanstalk where you can then transcend as that butterfly up into a different wonderland, the wonderland that you want to live in. So if you're coming to this pile with a question or wanting to know if this awakening is going to happen, when it's going to happen, what's going to trigger it, your message is that all you have to do is choose. Like, you just have to choose. And if you're worried that other people are not going to get it, you're right. Other people aren't going to get it. There's going to be people, things, scenarios, places, activities, jobs, everything above that's not going to align with your new wonderland. But it's your choice. Do you want to live in this wonderland or that wonderland? Do you want to use all of your tools, all of your magic to grow a beanstalk that takes you to this new wonderland? Or do you want to stay in this one? And I'm getting the sense that there's nothing wrong or pressuring, right, about either one of these places. If you stay where you are, it's not a bad place. It's just different. And if you want to go become the butterfly, it's not a better place. It's different. It's all about your perspective. You can choose to be the Sleeping Beauty, or you can choose to awaken and climb the beanstalk. Neither one is wrong. But if you are looking to make that choice, know that there will be conflict. But there will also be help from others. And that even if you get shut out by the caterpillars, there are going to be plenty of beautiful butterflies that are waiting to accept you on the other side. And you have the fuel and the fire and the tools and the groundedness and the sovereignty to get where it is that you want to go as this Queen of Pentacles. You are going to create a life for yourself that is lush, that is beyond your wildest dreams, that's going to feel like a new wonderland. But instead of feeling lost in wonderland, you're going to feel found. All right, I think that's all I have for you today with pile 1. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. I hope that it served you well in chasing after your deepest desires. If you would like a more personalized reading, I will leave linked below the page where you can check out all of my current available readings at any time. But if you're all set with this one, I encourage you to leave your biggest takeaway down below. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye. All right, pile 2. If you picked this pile with the crystal quartz pyramid, then this reading is for you. I feel like the crystal quartz pyramid really speaks to the idea that you have the power to direct your will in any way that you want to, right? One of the things I love about clear crystal quartz is not only does it clear, but it's actually programmable. And you can program and reprogram it to really act as whatever stone you desire. It is a blank slate and will take into form whatever your intention is. And the pyramids are so beautiful because they are a direct channel for any energy, right? The energy starts at the base and builds and then comes out of the top here where it all kind of conforms together. So if you're coming to this reading with a question, the answer is yes. You have the ability to create that for yourself. You have the ability to direct your will and your intention to that form, but you must channel that energy and that intention into being, right? So I feel like you're really coming to this reading with like a specific goal or project in mind that you're like working on. And this will probably relate to that. We'll see. We'll see. So let's see what these cards are. Okay. So we have share your voice, deep replenishment, and boundaries. So with whatever project you're working on, I feel like this is something that you're planning on kind of sharing with the world. But before you do that, there is some type of setup that needs to happen. If you've been really, and this pyramid is echoed here, you see that? So you're on the right track. However, there's a piece of you that needs to like take a step back before you put this out there, or maybe you've already put it out there and something has like transpired since then, or you're feeling some type of way and you're being invited to take a step back and to nurture yourself. You put so much nurturance and time and energy into this project. Now it's time to pull back a little and nurture yourself and almost like put a bubble around yourself and your boundaries of like, okay, I'm happy to do this. I'm happy to share this. This is my work that I'm putting out into the world, but I'm still here as a person who has their own needs. And like, this is my bubble and I need to protect that bubble, protect that time, protect the energy and myself as an individual being separate from this creation that I'm creating. So you're really being seen in this, but there's some part of you that while you're being seen, you're kind of fearful of this being seen too much, right? There's a part of this that's being like pulled back, and it's not because you're not ready. It's not because what you're doing is incorrect. It's not because it's not aligned. You're just not used to having everything on display like this, and you're not meant to have absolutely every part of your life, everything that you have out there. There is some type of discernment that needs to happen and some level of being okay with not everyone being happy with what you're doing, because there's a certain point, especially when we create things that go out there, where we have to say, regardless of how this is received, I am solid in my awareness, in my own knowing that what I put out there is correct, is aligned, is true for me and my life experience, is battle tested. Like, if it's not for you, that's fine. Like, that's where your boundary is. Like, this is for me and these people. And if it's not for you, then I'm not going to worry about what your judgment is, because it's not for you, right? It's not for those people. And I think being able to separate yourself from this is really important. Align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change. So, and we have priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? So there's something in this aspect of creation. So maybe this creation has been out for a while, or it could have just been recently put together by you. Either way, there's something about it that started in the beginning that's no longer working. Like, it's no longer aligned with where you're headed. And you're being called to really take the leadership role in that and step up and say, look, I have to change this. This needs to change. Maybe it's to fix this boundary here, but this has got to happen, and I'm going to be the one to do it because I'm the one working on it. This is all part of the building process for you. So this is all part of the building process for you, right? We often have to plant our seeds and let them grow, but sometimes it does come to a point, right, where we are forced to pivot, especially with this Wheel of Fortune here, right? Sometimes the way we started out isn't the way we're intended to kind of end or finish it out, and the pivoting is actually part of the plan. The pivoting is part of the plan. You may not have foreseen it, but it is there. And it can be really muddy for you, right? When you're ready to pivot, when you're ready to move, because there are so many choices. There's so many different avenues you could take, and there's so many unknown factors. And we have this kind of fantasy sometimes that we're going to be one and done, that like we perfect it on the first try and everybody's going to get it and it's going to go wonderfully and beautifully. But in this choice, we're forced to look at where the cracks are. Like, where is this shattering off, and how do I need to like weed out the bits that aren't serving my creation anymore and really step up in my leadership role. We have the star. The star at the heart of it. I feel like you're already pulled. The sense that you need to make the boundaries and rest. I feel like the sense that you're feeling depleted, some of that is coming from the fact that you're actually ignoring your intuition, your priestesshood, your inner knowing that something about this isn't right. Like, something isn't aligned anymore. And in fighting it, you're creating more friction within yourself versus just kind of letting the wheel turn as it will. Now, this isn't to say that this is going to be an easy decision, right? Some of these decisions might be quite effective to your life, or it could be that you're thinking it's going to be really like a big deal, but in reality, it's more of an internal shift than an external shift. And with the star, there is a sense of hope, right? A sense of renewed hope that like this pivot is going to lead you down the path that you're desiring. But you have to sit in that driver's seat. You have to be that priestess and say that I'm reaching for this. This is the star that I'm reaching for. I'm going to face north. I'm going to follow the North Star, which is my inner knowing. And I'm going to let this grow, but also change the course of where this is going at the same time, right? I almost see this as like a speeding up or propelling it in the right way. Right now, I kind of feel like you're floating in the boat, but like we're going to start the engine and we're headed north, baby. Like this is happening. So I want to take like one more card here to get some guidance, I guess you could say, a little kind of food for thought as you move forward. Okay, so there's, again, this boundary. Something is being pushed in order to propel you. You're being asked to kind of unravel this pattern, unravel this problem that you may have as a pattern in your life. And the mirror is very reflective. Mirrors in terms of like our spiritual work can sometimes be really confronting and really uncomfortable. But in order to move forward, something has to go. And it's something that you're clinging on to that's not healthy for you anymore. It may have helped you in the past. It may be a coping mechanism or a response. Something about it has helped you in the past, either in your younger life or previous life, and you have carried that over, but you've come to a point where it's no longer helpful. And in order to have hope for the future and move forward, move your boat towards the North Star, right? There is some type of aspect of reflection that has to happen where you decide this isn't helpful anymore. And here with the judgment card, not only judgment from others, but I think judgment from yourself, releasing the self-judgment that comes with whatever path you're on. The fact that you have come to this place with this aspect that needs to be released doesn't mean that you're wrong. It doesn't mean that you're bad. It doesn't mean that this aspect of you needs to be like shunned and put in the corner, right? It's all part of the process. It's part of the cycle of becoming into your next evolution of what you're doing, and recognizing that this piece served you before is going to help you release it more, because the more that we try to push something away, the more it pushes back almost. But in the acceptance of the fact that this has helped, it's just not helpful right now, can help you integrate all parts of yourself and release them with gratitude. If you have read the book Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo, that was popular many years ago now. But one of the things that she does, Marie Kondo, when she's decluttering her life, the things that no longer bring her joy anymore, she thanks them before she like puts them either in the donation bin or in the trash or whatever. And I think that speaks to whatever it is that you're kind of working on here, is like, it served you at one point, so there is some type of gratitude that needs to be expressed, even if you're moving it on. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. The last thing I'm feeling like just reiterating is that like there's hope. You have so much support around you. I see you being held in like this little universal energetic cocoon, and they just want to say like it's going to get better. There is the North Star, there is hope, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and living a life that is congruent with your inner knowing, with your sovereign power, is going to be fulfilling. And this whole thing is just a temporary bump. It's just a temporary thing that we need to like examine and then pivot. That's all. Okay. So I hope you found this helpful. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading today. If you would like some extra personalized guidance, I always have offerings available for readings on my website, which I'll leave linked below. Otherwise, I'd love to hear in the comments what your favorite takeaway is from this. Maybe the thing that I said that impacted you the most. Please share that in the comments. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys again very soon. Take care. Bye. All right, pile 3. Let's get into your reading. You have the black dried rose. Maybe you're needing to protect yourself, your heart, your well-being. Maybe you have romanticized being in the dark for a little bit and you're seeking some light. Maybe you just like, maybe you just love black like I do, or there's an answer in here for you. So what is it that pile 3 needs to know right now? It's time to let go. a year from now, everything is going to be so different for you. You're not even going to be able to recognize your life. And even if things seem dark and dismal right now, even if you're kind of feeling like this dried up rose, like everything's kind of shriveled and black, allowing yourself to surrender to the process, to let go, not in a sense of not choosing, right? We need to actively choose what it is that we want, where it is that we're going, and make that happen for ourselves. We can't just like willy-nilly let things unfold, although sometimes that is kind of the goal, right? It's allowing ourselves to stop holding on so tightly to something that we once thought was going to give us this beautiful vision that for ourselves that was unfolding. And it might have started out that way, but now it is no longer serving you. It is dead. It is done. It is dead and dying. And we need to let go and allow ourselves to move on so that you can have this peaceful resolution. Even if you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel a year from now, this peaceful resolution card is a sign that like this is going to work out. Like it's going to be okay. Like you're ready. It's time to like surrender to the process, to let go, to let what's done be done, and to move forward. And to believe that you will be able to move forward. To trust that your path forward is going to lead to this peaceful evolution. And I understand. I get it. I'm human too. We want to know, right? We want to know with absolute assuredness, like, if I let this go, is it going to be okay? Is this going to result in my desire? Am I risking it all and throwing away this not so great thing that I have, that I know, in order to get this thing that's unknown? Is that going to be something that I regret doing? Is this half-assed thing that I'm engaged in now actually better than what's on the other side? Or can I be reassured and promised that what's on the other side is better? And whatever it was that you were coming to this reading with the question about, with this peaceful resolution card and the trust, and if you believe, is that the messages that you're being asked, right, to surrender and to allow and to let go and trust that this peaceful resolution is going to come even if you can't see it right away, right? The unknown is scary as shit. But we need to trust and believe if we're following our internal nudges, if we're following our intuition, if we're following the lead of whatever the higher realms is that you engage with. If we are in alignment with that, even if our brain doubts, even if our brain doesn't know, even if we're scared and shaking in our boots, if you feel at your core that this is the time to move forward, baby. Like, move it. Get your butt in gear and let go. Because a year from now, what decision you make right now in this moment is going to change the trajectory of your life. You can remain in the same spot, in that same mediocre existence, or you can let go and move forward and chase this new thing. And even if this new thing doesn't pan out in its entirety, in the full spectrum of the way that you imagined, even if the vision you hold for that right now in this moment, that kind of hint into the unknown that you think you're moving towards, it could end up being bigger than better than you imagined, right? But you have to believe in your guidance system and trust it to move you forward into the unknown, despite what other doubts you may be having, to bring your rose back to life. And there is an element of protection for yourself within this too, right? Being sure that as you're moving forward, you're protecting yourself and you're making sure that you're going to be okay within this letting go. And it's okay to ask for help from others, right? Maybe you need some external help. Maybe you need some, supplemental program that you need to get into. Maybe there's your spiritual team that you need to reach out to, right? Getting support to help you move into this unknown is going to be very aligned for you in your path. Just because you're making this big change doesn't mean that you have to do it alone. You may feel very alone and very singled out here, kind of in that, like, you know, but there is help there for you. There is a pool of resources that's waiting to be utilized, but you have to come to the realization that you're going to take care of yourself first, and that in order to do that, you need some support. And that doesn't mean that you're not strong. It doesn't mean that you're not sovereign. It doesn't mean that you are a case for a pity party. This help is there for you to lean on, to help elevate and bring this to a peaceful resolution. All right, I'm feeling like we need to end your reading with one quick card draw here. This is from the Fairy Tale Oracle. This is from a fairy tale style oracle deck. And I just want to see what story is being activated here for you. So we have Alice in Wonderland and the Evil Queen. And Bluebeard's wife. So I think this is so beautiful to round out this reading. So the Alice in Wonderland story. Alice is propelled into the unknown. And she's in a strange land that she does not know how to navigate. And it's not quite in line with her natural reality, right? Everything seems kind of turned on its head and upside down. But she has the best time in Wonderland because she comes at it from a place of imagination, of possibility, right? She meets the different characters along the way and she follows their story. She's trying to find herself, but she discovers that it's not through the other people that she finds herself. It's through how she builds herself up and makes her choices as she moves forward. She finds a newfound strength through interacting with these characters. And even though in the beginning she felt lost, in the end she found her own way and her own belonging within the Wonderland. And even in the Wonderland, right, there were some people that didn't have her best interest in mind, right? This card talks about the Evil Queen, but in Alice in Wonderland, we have the Queen of Hearts. And she is very angry. She's very bitter. She is kind of out to get everybody because she is so hurt. And it takes a lot of strength for Alice to step up to her, right? There are other people in the Wonderland in the story where they're too scared to stand up for what's right. But Alice, because she has an outsider's perspective, she can come in and say, like, hey, this ain't okay, right? This is not okay. And she finds her courage to help them find a better way. And here we have Bluebeard's wife. And I don't know much about the story as a whole, but I do remember this little snippet of the story in the guidebook. And the tale of Bluebeard's wife is one where she gets involved with this guy and she marries like a king or something. She marries Bluebeard, or she's going to. And then she discovers that Bluebeard has actually murdered all of his previous wives, and she believes that she's next. So in order to get out of this situation, she reaches out to her sister and one of their other relatives, and they come and they help her they help her escape. So within this unfolding, I'm really feeling this story for you, if this resonates with you, where you find yourself in a place that you didn't think you would ever be. And there's some type of injustice that's happening that you are now coming to a realization that like, this is not okay, right? This is how this land is run. And just because I'm here in the land doesn't mean that I have to be a part of it. Alice finds her strength to overcome the Queen of Hearts, and she bans those around her to get out of this situation, not only for herself, but for them as well. There's a compassion for the evil queen, or the Queen of Hearts, right, in the story. There is something about them that's still human, right? You can see they're hurt, you can see they're angry, but there's a certain level when you realize that while you can see the compassion for this person, while you love this person, it's still not okay what they're doing. And in order to get out of that situation, you need those that are supportive of you to rally around you, right? You need some help, just as Bluebeard's wife needed help to get out of this situation. And it didn't make any of these characters weak. It made them stronger to have people rallying around them and to have that support. And I feel like this just iterates our story in such a beautiful way. And that even if you were kind of felt as if you were almost lured or led into this situation by something that was extra promising or extra sweet, and you've kind of been trapped there for a while, you still can make it out, right? Just as Hansel and Gretel did from this story, right? They banded together and they found strength and they overcame. And I'm feeling like you are all of the strong characters in this story, right? This story is so complex, and what you're going through is so complex. There's so many layers. But if you feel like the time is now that you need to escape, then all you have to do is reach out for the support, and it's there. But ultimately, I love this. Ultimately, it's up to you, right? This is your story. You can choose to continue how you've been going, or to travel into the unknown and try something new. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you need to be secure in your decision, because the choice is yours, right? So your reading, while we started out very encouraging, right? We talked about how your life could be so different if you let go and you trust and you move forward. But we're ending the reading with our guidance of, ultimately, it's up to you. This is your decision. This is your choice. This is your life. This is your body. This is your lifetime. You get to choose where that moves, who that interacts with, what kind of life you lead. And there's no shame in your choice. The most important thing to remember is, even if you do need to seek support, at the end of the day, it's still your decision. And nobody else can tell you what to do. Only you can decide that. And whatever you feel like the decision is that you need to make is the right one for you. It may not be the right one for somebody else, but it's the right one for you. And that makes it the right choice. All right. I hope that you found this reading helpful. Thank you so much for joining me. If you would like some more personalized guidance, I always have readings available on my shop. I will leave the link so you can check those out below. But even if this was enough for you right now, I thank you so much for joining me. Please let me know in the comments below the thing that made the most impact for you during this reading. And I will see you guys again really soon. Take care, guys. Bye. All right, pile 4, if you chose the Larimar, then this is your reading. So let's hop into it. I'm getting the sense that if you came to this reading, you're not really like sure what your question is. Like, you don't have a question in mind. You just need like something, like, to, not even guidance, just like in search of some type of connection or nod your way or understanding. Like, you're just reaching for something. So let's see what comes up for you. So we have the Living Library. I just want to get some other cards down here. Tell me more about this Living Library. All right. So we have the Emperor and the Hierophant with the Ten of Cups and the Queen of Wands. So I'm feeling like you're kind of have two separate like things going on. Like, none of these feel like they're talking to each other. And I feel like you're just kind of compartmentalizing a lot of different things right now and creating this sort of separation that almost doesn't need to be there. The Living Library speaks to our multifaceted nature, that like we are a living library. Like, we are so many different stories. We have so many different layers. We're so many different things at once. And the positive aspect of that is that we are so multifaceted and multi-passionate and multi-layered. And in our wholeness, we're so unique and diverse. But in more of a shadow aspect of that, there can be a tendency to kind of like compartmentalize everything and separate everything out and almost put this like self-imposed rules and rigidity on things, where like it's this is this and this is this, and if I'm this, I have to do that, and if I'm this way or with this person, I have to be this way or that person, instead of just seeing it all as one big scope. So I feel like on this side, you're very organized, you're very planned, action oriented, and your passion has to be structured in order to lead you to this feeling of fulfillment in your emotional life. Or maybe that does give you that structured feeling of this, emotion. Maybe the structured feeling gives you that kind of fulfillment. But then you have the Hierophant, which can be the teacher, but can also be kind of the not self-imposed, but the imposed rules of society. The way that others see the world and say you should do things. And I feel like there's somehow like an element of play in this card, whereas the Queen of Wands is actually very passionate and dynamic, but in this particular card, she seems very like closed off, one track mind, very serious. Like these cards are very serious. So we have sacred vow. And I'm not going to try to pronounce that. So this came out upside down, and I'm feeling like it's meant to be that way. I kind of turned it right side up so you could see it, but I think it needs to be upside down. What I'm seeing here is you came to this life making a vow to yourself that you would not live a life that you would not live your life that in a way that you didn't make you happy, right? And I feel like you have done all of the things up till now that were supposed to lead you to this happiness, to this 10 of Cups. But in the pursuit, in the systematic pursuit of this life, you have disconnected yourself and your sacred vow from that. Like you've almost let other people drive, and you've listened to their advice. And these may not be people who were ill-intended at all. Like this doesn't seem like a malicious thing or like a bad thing, but you find yourself in this place of continually making progress towards this goal, but only through means that other leaders have set out. But in doing so, you have ignored, or possibly ignored, your individuality, your sense of self. So we need to flip this. We need to flip this card upright. We need to put you back in the path. I don't think you're like off the path or lost, but there's a piece that's like of you that's like not even being heard. I felt that when you like came, remember when I started this reading and I said, I feel like you're just coming for information, like you don't have an actual like question. You were just coming to see what it said. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I wasn't saying that in a bad way, but I feel like this is the energy of that. You're like, okay, what do I do next? But there's no passion inside of you. There's no fire burning. There's no intuition speaking to you because it's not even a thing. Like you haven't yet connected with that. Yes. Okay. Oops. So that's the Magician card. Yeah. Okay. So there's some level in order to turn this right side up. And it's so interesting to me that the decks that I intuitively chose for your reading were ones that are focused heavily on having to use your intuition. Like this deck, I'm using the Ritual Tarot. This doesn't have any titles. I know what the cards are because I've used it, but they don't have any titles. Same with these cards. These cards, what is this? The Ocean Dreams, a Mystic Oracle. A lot of the keywords on here can't be read without having previously read the guidebook. You can still read them intuitively, which is the catch, right? Intuitively. So the decks that were chosen intuitively by me for your reading are ones that force you to figure it out yourself. And I feel like this is the message for you. And I'm kind of sensing you're at this place where like you haven't even really thought of that. Like it never like crossed your mind that this was the missing piece, that somehow you needed to like take the reins. And I don't feel like you're at a place of discontentment from like a deep-seated space. This may be just like a kind of inkling that you're kind of tapping into and just starting to notice here and there. And if you are starting to notice it, this is your invitation to begin to honor your sacred vow to yourself and recognize that you have the drive and the creative power to make this 10 of Cups actualize on your own. Like, you don't need everybody to always be propelling you forward, telling you what to do, telling you how to act, telling you what your passions are, telling you how to feel. There's a lot of great self-help stuff out there, but no matter how much information and intellectual information we consume, if we're not at a place where we're connecting and aligning ourselves, I'm just picturing like the chakras, like all lined up. If you're not creating your world from a place of internal rather than external, you're not really going to get to this 10 of Cups that you're desiring. On paper, you might, but there's always going to be some type of disconnect. And I feel like you're like, again, I don't feel like you're super like upset, like this isn't a dire situation. You're just kind of like, that's curious. I wonder why or what this disconnect, is happening. Where's this conflict coming from? So here we have the Lust card and the 5 of, I believe those are the Wands. Yes, the Wands. So 5 of Wands is conflict with others, and the Lust card is kind of like envious, right? So you may be in a place where you're feeling like something's disconnected because of something someone else is doing, and you're almost a little envious of like all these things that you're learning and consuming and moving towards, right? It's like, wouldn't it be nice? Like, it's a fantasy kind of thing, and you feel like you're struggling with the fantasy because there's other people in your life that are preventing this from happening. Oh, goodness. Okay. There are other things in this life that are preventing this from happening. And in order to bridge this gap, right? You just saw me lay down this card, which is like a bridge. And I love how this card, like, I don't lay out the cards in a determined way. I lay them out intuitively as they come out. Like, I'm just building as I feel like where they should go. And I'm getting this real sense of like, as above, so below, like, and bridging the left and the right here. I was just talking about seeing that kind of line of chakras all centered. And I feel like there's, again, with this fragmented pieces of you, it all needs to be brought together. But the thing that brings this together is burning it all to the ground with the Tower card. And I know that sounds very dramatic and very scary. And I'm not saying like, go dismantle your life. But there's an aspect that needs to happen where everything's going to be flipped on its head. And there needs to be a new way. Like, a new way, cleansing waters. Like, something needs to be cleared out, cleaned out, flushed out, like clean slate. We're doing this over. And we're starting again. And I just want to say that I'm not a professional. I'm not giving you professional advice. This is, any actions that you take after this reading are of your own. I do not have any liability. I'm not telling you to like go and dismantle everything in your life. Usually I don't feel the need to say that, but because we do have such a like prescriptive narrative within this reading, I feel like it's important to say that this is not me saying, go do this. This is me saying, go be the magician of your own life and get curious and explore and examine where the conflicts are and figure out from a place of not looking it up. We're not Googling. We're not like reading books. We're not looking for tarot card readings on this. Like, there needs to be a point where you shut out all other input and you get really serious about listening to your own inner voice and figuring out what that sounds like. And once you figure out what this sounds like, your entire world is going to change. Like, it's going to be like you bathed in these cleansing waters, and it's going to feel like some things are falling apart. And that's not because, again, this is not like dramatic, like life is coming to an end, but you're going to see things in such a different way. I love this. We also now have a diagonal happening. You're going to see things in such a new way that it's going to open up everything. Like, your life that was compartmentalized here and here and here and here and here and here and like structured and rigid is now going to come into this sense of like becoming whole and being one with the earth. We have Mother Ocean here, and it really talks about just like recognizing that we are part of the larger whole, and that everything in our life is meant to nurture us and to build a foundation of evolution to fulfill this beautiful sacred vow that we all made to ourselves when we came to this earth of becoming whole. And I feel like that was your goal all along with this Ten of Cups, like becoming whole, having it all internally, like feeling like everything is so one with me, like, was always your goal. You just weren't sure how to get there. But I feel like making this small shift to trusting your own inner guidance and really like taking time to get to know that and listen to that and craft your life from a place of, this is what I want, this is where I want to go. That's going to be really impactful for you. I usually don't kind of plug my other programs, but I'm feeling if you're resonating with this, I invite you to explore my Manifesting a Magical Life membership, because in that membership is courses and lessons where I take you through getting in touch with your intuition, trusting your intuition, crafting out your life vision for yourself, and then how I like plan and take actual action towards that. So it's a roadmap, but with you as the driver still. I show you how to make your own roadmap and follow that to the destination that you want to be at. So if you're feeling like this is really resonant with you, I would recommend checking that out. That might be a helpful resource for you. And I'll leave that linked below as well. Okay. I'm feeling like that's it for you. Thank you so much for joining me. If you had an impactful takeaway from this reading, I'd love to hear what it was in the comments. Just like a one-liner, the thing that I said that really like, clicked with you. I just love reading all those, and it's really impactful for other people reading the comments as well. I'm so excited for you in this journey. Like, this is the reason I do the work that I do is to help people who are at this stage of like, I'm ready to connect with myself on a deeper level and build the life of my dreams from that place. To recognize myself as the sovereign being who's one with everything and like really actively creating the life that I desire. Literally my whole mission. So I'm so excited for you. And I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye. All right, pile 5. If you chose the crystal wand, then this is your reading. I'm feeling like you just want a freaking answer. Like, that's the energy I'm getting from this pile is like, look, I just need a straight up answer. Like, just give me an answer. Yes, no, like, maybe some of the details, but like quick and dirty, like, yes or no. Do I need this? Do I not need this? We have big happy changes popping out here. Success. So few cards in this, sometimes it's hard to shuffle. Oh, here we go. All right, so the answer is it's coming. Like, the success is inevitable. Things are going to change. Like, yes, yes, yes. It's coming. It may not be coming as fast as you would like, because I get this sense of like, no, 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 now, with this pile, but we have the yes card. Like, in the near future, yes, this is coming. Like, quit worrying about it. Within the next few weeks, like, it's big happy changes are coming. Success is coming. Like, it's all coming. And there's no doubt. Like, it's assured. Like, this is happening. Quit worrying about it. I know you're impatient. Like, shit's happening. Life's orchestrating. Like, in the near future, this is all coming to pass. But don't let that distract you from everything you have going on right now, right? There is an element of, don't worry, it's coming. You're going to have it all. We have the 9 of Pentacles, the Empress. These are very abundant cards, like lush life, like just so much abundance and everything happening. Your success, it feels guaranteed. Like, it feels like without question. But they want to remind you that in the waiting period, in this like time where you're waiting for it to unfold, to not get hyper focused on what is and the fact that it's not coming yet, because it is coming. And there can be a sense of disappointment that it hasn't happened yet. There can be a lot of anxiety. The 10 of Swords is so funny. In one of my favorite decks, well, not one of my favorite decks, but one of my favorite 10 of Swords cards is in the Modern Witch Tarot. And in that card, it's this girl laying down. And she's like, it's fine. Like, everything's fine. And that's kind of the energy of the card. It's like, no, it's fine. Everything's fine. The building's on fire. Train's going off the rails. But, like, it's all good. And I feel like if you're kind of in that energy and looking at all the different ways you could pivot, like, you're almost doing damage control. Like, that's the sense I'm getting. Like, there's some sort of damage control that you feel like you need to implement, but you don't need to do any of it. Like, it's all just kind of things that are going on within your brain because you have this gap of the waiting period and you're not seeing it in your life yet. But, like, you're already done. Like, it's already done. Success is, like, imminent. Like, it's your job now to just, like, sit back and chill and, like, I don't want to say wait for it to happen, because there's always, you know, active roles that we can play. But I don't think you need, like, there's no damage control that needs to happen. Like, nothing is wrong. It's just divine timing, right? Which is such an annoying concept, I know. Like, especially when you want something like now. Like, divine timing is, like, the worst thing that you can say to someone who's, like, trying to, like, look for signs that, like, stuff's happening. But we have Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty, Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, and Teacher. I feel like this is just part of your journey. The waiting is part of your journey. And can you stay devoted to your craft, to whatever it is that you're waiting on? Can you stay devoted to the trust and the knowing that what you've done is enough, that it's already happening, without messing with it to like meddle with it and try to fix it? How can you let yourself receive what is to come without having to have such an active controlling role in it? Where can you start to trust and fall into the unfolding? So your kind of action steps, because I get the sense that you need something to do, like you need an action. So the action that you're being asked to do is to take time to rest, to replenish yourself. So take time to do activities, to do things. You don't have to do nothing, right? But try to do things that don't have to do with this. Like, leave this well enough alone. And do things that have to do with you, with your soul, with your self-expression, that are going to prepare you even more for this to come. Like, there's something big coming. Like, this rewriting the future card, breaking the chain, like, you have done some serious work. Like, there's something very big, and I'm even getting like chills. Like, there's something very big happening, and it's happening. Like, it is happening. But in order for you to be ready for it to happen, you need to step back and be in silence with yourself. Just like rein it all in and recenter and refocus on you and what you love, and bringing your nervous system back into equilibrium. Like, yes, it's coming. Yes, it's imminent. Yes, I did it. Like, and trusting that you did enough. Like, you don't always have to like micromanage and like try to like force everything to be okay right away. It's okay to sit back and let it play out. Let it work out for you as you set it up to. Like, you set it up that way. So allow it to work that way for you. And I think taking this unactive role might be a little foreign for you. And it's going to be hard. And there's going to be a gentleness that's required for you to bring in, to be gentle with yourself during the process, and almost learning how to take the back seat. But like, they got it. They got you. It's happening. It's happening. Okay? So that's all I have for you today. I hope that reading was helpful. If you would like some more personalized guidance, I always have readings available on my website. I'll leave the link for that below in case you want to check it out. But otherwise, I'd love to hear what the most impactful thing was for you from this reading. Maybe something I said or one of the cards. I always love reading your comments and seeing what touched people the most. So with all that being said, I'm so happy for you. It's happening. And I will see you again soon. Take care.